Hello everyone. I think Mas Kiri can start ya. Halo Mas Kiri. Hello everyone. I think Mas Kiri can start ya. Halo Mas Kiri. Hello everyone.
Hello, Mas Rangga. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mas Kiri, clear and loud.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, our internet, it's down and now it's revived. So thank you for checking in. Okay, so let's start. Let's start. Are we ready?
Yes, while waiting for Puja, maybe we can introduce Infinity 8 Academy, or if Pak Ruben willing to represent Infinity 8 Academy.
Okay, I can do this. So welcome everyone to our webinar. This is webinars dedicated to the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction with the theme of fund resilience, not disaster. And we held it at the end of October to close the disaster risk reduction month, probably in different countries. Also in Indonesia, we celebrate, we commemorate. And this is the end of the month where everyone, no one is left behind to participate actively, proactively in building and funding resilience. So what is Infinity 8, right? That's the question. So Infinity 8 Academy is academy where the full name is Infinity 8 Academy for Health, Safety, and Environment. Sociopreneurs. Apologies because there are some other creatures also want to celebrate the disaster risk reduction. Not only humans, but the environment also are, yeah. So again, welcome everyone. Infinite Academy is dedicated for building sociopreneurs and the social enterprise everywhere. And this year, we want to celebrate also the 70 years of Asia-Africa conference, which was held in Indonesia, Bandung, last 70 years ago. That is why with the same spirit and the spirit of Ubuntu working together, in Indonesia, we call it Gotong Royong, right? We want to work together to build resilience, both Africa and Asia. And for the day, today's topic, which is fund resilience, not disaster, we are based on studies that we know it together that we are mostly in the wrong ring of fire in Asia Pacific, where earthquakes are due to the collision zone between the Indo-Australian Eurasian plates. And one of the big issue is preparation for or preparedness for megathrust. And earthquakes are more frequent today with big magnitude, and still many are unprepared. Not only disaster like earthquake, cascading with tsunami, liquefaction, and so on, but we have also the threat of hydrometeorological hazard. We're increasing at the speed of climate change, they call it. And we need to have a concrete preparedness. At the same time, we need to fund it because, yes, we understand there are many volunteers working in disasters during disaster response, but we know it's not enough. Volunteers is not enough. We need funds, and funds not only from government, not only from NGO, not only from UN, not only from a different organization, but we need to self-fund. We need to create a fund, a preparation fund. Let's say in the scriptures, major religion, like we know there is stories of Joseph in the Egypt, when he knows there is a famine coming. What his advice to the king of Pharaoh is to prepare a logistics, a mega logistics that can be contributed by small logistics, by families, by districts, by everyone actually. And the story of our lives for many years, thousands of years, logistical or financial pool of funds or pool of logistics are the source, one of the source of resilience, because we need to prepare things before disaster, before famine, before earthquake, before any disaster happen. So today, at the end of this month, October, we want to celebrate, and at the same time, we want to build commitment together from different sectors. We call it pentahelix, right? Government, enterprise or companies, academia, media and journalism, and also community, right? And NGOs or CSOs. So at this moment, let's put our hearts and minds together. We want to celebrate and we want to build commitment to fund resilience and not disasters. So today we have two speakers. We have professional doctorate, Dr. Puja Saxena from Infinite Academy. She lead this academy and mentor social entrepreneurs in different aspects, humanitarians, from clean water, food, energy, climate change, disaster risk reduction. We have education, quality education, reliable healthcare, and all of these things are culminating in resilience. So resilience is not only disasters, right? Climate change, we have disruptions, economic systems, cybersecurity, and so on. So we need to prepare this, and Infinity is committed on that. And we need also educators, and also we need mentors and we need practitioners to do these social enterprises. So the next, we have our special speaker here, a DRR specialist, Mr. Rangga Wisnu from Indonesia. He is building his social enterprise in mitigation, and he is founding a terminology, the first time in the world, a mitigator. And I remember, I think last April, together with the coordinating Ministry of Human Development and Culture, Mr. Lili, yeah, the mitigator term was first announced, and so many mitigators already trained. Mr. Rangga can speak more on that, and it's really in the heart of our topic, which is fund resilience, not disaster. And then we will have some humanitarian IGNAT states. There are some, maybe around 10 people will speak and to promote their ventures. Yeah. So let's start with the program. Is Dr. Puja is here. Oh yeah, thank you. I read the chat. It says private sector as well. Yes. So private sector, or we call it company, or enterprise or entrepreneurs. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So
Dr. Puja not yet join.
okay. So while waiting for her, I will give this time and space to Mr. Rangga to present the topic, mitigator. Please.
Thank you, Mas Kiri. Hello, everyone. Pleased to meet you all in this nice afternoon. I'm Rangga. I live in Bogor. This is live from Bogor, ya. Mas Kiri live from Manado, Mas Kiri. Is that correct?
North Minahasa.
Oh,
exactly.
From Minahasa. North Minahasa, Minahasa Utara, North Minahasa. Okay. We have audience from, I saw a lot of friends in here as well, and mentor, Dr. Ruben, one of my mentor in Infinity 8. Thank you so much for assisting us in this good afternoon, and everyone from Southeast Asia or Asia Tenggara. That's the name that I took for my academy, Tenggara Academy, and for my venture as my legal venture. So this event is one of the Infinity 8 Academy event, enabling us, student of Infinity 8 Academy, to share about our thought and our innovation. And starting with me as mitigators, training of mitigators venture founder for all of us. And thank you for all mitigators that joined this session, celebrating or commemorating the International Day of Disaster Risk Reduction. Allow me to share screen my, okay. Is it on, Mas Kiri? Okay. So start. Let me share the title. Mitigator is everyone business. Why? We will discuss about it in few seconds. Current International Day of Risk Reduction take a theme about fun, resilience, not disaster. I think it's very relevant with current situation where we all facing the hard situation that a lot of huge funding stopped by the resource. And why we need to fund resilience, not disaster. So by funding resilience, we acknowledge that in disaster management, we divided into three phases: the pre-disaster phase, the disaster phase, and post-disaster phase. So in pre-disaster phase, we have a lot of time to fund resilience. It's kind of a proactive approach that investing in resilience can mitigate the impact of disaster. And of course, as cost effective through funding resilience, initiative can be more cost effective than responding to disaster after they occur. So these two, and the third is, if we fund resilience, we may sustainable the development, because resilience focused funding can support sustainable development and reduce vulnerability to disasters. And fourth, by funding the resilience, we may empower the community or community empowerment, because resilience initiative can empower communities to take ownership of their own disaster risk. So it's apply like our community-based disaster management, and also reduce this. Okay. The next is, why not funding the disaster, or what we understand about this disaster. This is like an old point of view, yeah, when we spend a lot of time, we spend a lot of funding after disaster happens, after disaster occurs. This is what we call as a reactive approach. Funding disaster response can be a reactive approach and doesn't address the root cause of vulnerability. So too many risks. Higher costs, of course, disaster response can be costly, both in terms of financial resource and human lives. That's the second. Why we not recommend to fund disaster? Also, it's a long-term impact. Disaster can have long-term impact on communities, economies, and environments. And the last is, we might miss the opportunities. Focusing solely on disaster response, it means missing opportunities to build resilience and reduce vulnerability. Because in disaster, it's a chaotic situation that management will face a very difficult situation. So the benefit of funding resilience: first, we reduce the vulnerability. Funding resilience initiative can help reduce vulnerability to disaster. We all know that vulnerability is one of the cause of disaster, besides the hazard, geological hazard, hydrometeorological hazard, biological hazard, and others. And second, by funding resilience, the benefit is increased adaptive capacity. So the adaptive capacity of the community, resilient focused funding can increase the ability of communities and system to adapt to changing circumstances or situation. Next is by funding resilience, we improve response and recovery. That community can invest in resilience, better equipped to respond and to recover from disaster. And last, by funding resilience, we manage the sustainable development. Funding resilience can support sustainable development and reduce the risk of disaster. This initiative is for we to better safe than sorry. This is one of the mitigation initiative. Okay, that's all I want to share to all of us in this session, Mas Kiri, and better we have more discussion and interactive discussion with everyone. Thank you. Back to Mas Kiri.
Yes, thank you so much, Mas Rangga. Due to the internet connection, I prefer to off cam. If please accept my proposal, so we can have a sustainable connection throughout the program. So again, thank you, Mas Rangga, for the brief, I can say brief presentation about disaster risk resilience reduction and fund resilience. I think some people are now wants to ask something or to clarify something. It's possible. So let's give this room for anyone to ask question to Mas Rangga while we wait for another speaker. Yeah.
Can we ask Dr. Ruben to give his speech first, Mas Kiri?
Okay. Okay, so I think we can go to the humanitarian IGNAT stage, and let's have a round on each of the ventures. So please, we can share screen the videos, those who are sending the videos, and some, if they are here, they want to speak, we can allow them. So for now, for the first, we can share from the Dr. Ruben Supit, Caregiving Solutions Indonesia. Let's wait a bit. Okay, we'll wait for another few seconds. I think this is the presentation of each venture. So yeah, please.
Across 7 million homes in urban and rural Indonesia, families face the growing burden of non-communicable diseases and the unmet needs of home caregivers of their own family elderly members. The solution, NCD reversal through high-quality supported caregiving. In November 2024, Dr. Ruben Vicente Tignosupit and Kyriakos Athantokides Erlang, ignited by Professor Dr. Puja Sasena, the Executive Director of Infinity Aid Academy HSE Sociopreneurs India, founded Caregiving Solutions Indonesia, or CSI. Legally established on March 26, 2025, CSI is a special initiative unit of the Healing Way Indonesia Foundation, hosted by Infinity Aid Academy of HSC Sociopreneurs India, and powered by the Roxburgh Institute of Social Entrepreneurship, Switzerland. CSI's 5-year plan Vision 2030 combines guidebooks, a digital platform, and community empowerment, transforming informal caregiving into high-quality supported care. CSI is where health meets hope. Families become the front line of healing. Join us.
We still have several videos. Or we can open discussion while waiting, Mas Kiri.
Okay, as your request, we can open the first termin for questions. We have time. Oh, that is here is the video. Okay,
Alright.
we can continue with the video.
Hi everyone, my name is Yurkani Lalaia. I'm an English teacher for young Indonesian children aged 3 to 12 and the founder of Litops English Club in North Sulawesi, Indonesia. Our program helps children in rural areas of Indonesia to learn English through fun and play-based activities so they can grow confident and ready for the global world. We believe every child deserves the chance to learn English, no matter where they live. I'm now working to scale up this model so more children across rural Indonesia can experience joyful and quality English learning.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Patricia Silva. I'm based in Zimbabwe. I'm implementing an app with India in Kobe, where we've constructed 9 fish ponds with a capacity of producing about 5,000 kilograms of fish every month. The problem that we intend to address pertains to limited economic opportunities, mainly for the youth, and also food insecurity in the area.
Hello, my name is Omoya Charles Oyet, and I'm the founder of the Crucible Program. And the Crucible Program is a leadership development program for university students who study in any university, any of the universities within the East African community. And currently, we are about to graduate our cohort, our third cohort of the program. We are also glad to be supported by Infinity Aid Academy, as well as Roxburgh Institute of Social Entrepreneurship. And I'm happy to be working with all the amazing people in the program to reach all the milestones that we've set ourselves for the program.
Rural and refugee communities build resilience and adapt sustainable solutions. I founded. Hello everyone, I'm Ngoy Joseph from Uganda. I am driven by a long life commitment to empowering communities through sustainable agriculture, environmental conservation, and youth-led innovation. While growing up in Uganda, where poverty, food insecurity, and the effect of climate change threaten livelihood, I developed a strong passion for Help Plateau Agri-Ventures, which empowers women and youth through sustainable agribusiness, where we have supported 53 households in mushroom production, backyard farming, and poultry keeping. My ambition is to build an agribusiness incubator which will promote demonstration and learning.
I'm Joseph Escom, concerned the Chief Executive Founder of Maspan International, CLIT. We are into agroecology, youth-led and agribusiness innovations, CLIT. We transform from traditional farming into climate smart driven systems. Thanks and appreciations goes to our esteemed team leaders and our academy, which is the 28th Academy. We appreciate you so much for the tremendous work that you are doing to make sure that we improve on our knowledge enhancement. And we are into agriculture because Sierra we lack the positions for pride annually, which has a benefit on our GDP, approximately not less than $200 million. So we want to focus on our premium production. That is to say, we can produce locally because we have land, we have good soils, and we can do by ourselves. So we are calling on international partners to make sure they come into our aid and support what we are doing.
My name is Dema Pinti. I'm the co-founder and club manager of the CLT Corporation, known as RAF. RAF is a women and youth biggest organization located 150 settlements in Uganda. RAF was established in 2023 after identifying the climate of anemia among children and pregnant mothers caused by a cut of malformations and poor feeding lack of supply, and this then about to establish kitchen gardens to support their livelihood and balance diet. We have reached out a general number of 100.
Hello, I'm by name Nazige Janat, a counseling psychologist by professional. My venture is called Perfect Therapy Center. We are located in Uganda, Kampala. We are specialized in child and adolescent counseling, and we are empowering vulnerable populations, particularly children and adolescents, to achieve optimal mental health and wellness through accessible, inclusive, and compassionate counseling services. The reason why we decided to concentrate on children is because they are neglected in our country. Everyone thinks that children don't have emotions. So we have decided to put all our emphasis on children and adolescents so that they can come out better adults. And we are calling out everyone to support us in this cause because mental health is a new thing in Africa. It has so many needs. Everyone has a lot to say about it. So sensitizing about it in schools, organizations, hospitals, communities, it is something that is needed in our country. Thank you so very much. I'll be glad to receive your support.
All right, that's great videos from students of Infinity 8 Academy. Back to Mas Kiri.
Yes. Thank you, Ranga. Thank you for Michelle for the share screen of the videos. We have a bunch of social entrepreneurs working together, building resilience. And we are glad today, at this time, we welcome Prof. Dr. Pooja Saxena from Infinitate Academy is joining with us, and she has been a lot of tasks, and she is now as a consultant in the Ministry of Internal Affairs in India, but she has a lot of passion for health, safety, and environment. And through social entrepreneurship, we can change the world. And today is the right time for us to celebrate this in the International Day for Disaster Risk Reductions, to celebrate, to fund together resilience and not disaster. So we want to welcome Dr. Prof. Pooja Saxena from Infinitate Academy. Space and time is yours.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't join earlier as I was a little preoccupied, but good to see you all here. And allow me to share my screen. Or Katie, you can share. Do you want me to share? You have to give me the permission.
We can share.
I have shared it in the.
Okay, yeah. You want to share? Yes, you can.
Can you try again, Pooja?
Yeah, sure.
I think you're already co-host now.
Right now it's host only. Okay, you have to say all participants, Kiri, then it will allow. Okay. Okay, so welcome all of you once again. So I'm sure we are speaking about, disaster risk reduction, and we're talking about all the elements and how we can, because not talk about funds and receiving funds, but talk about how to, take resilience at the next level by having our own, initiatives. And that is where the social enterprise comes into the picture, because with the various geopolitical changes all around the globe, we know the kind of shift in dynamics in terms of funding and in terms of receiving funds from various agencies from across the countries. So we at Roxburgh and Infinity 8 Academy would like to call upon you to look into the how to nurture your surroundings and how to bring resilience in your surroundings through professional education, which leads to social enterprise. So I'm going to talk about a bit about how Infinity 8 Academy functions, and our core area being HSC, which is health, safety, and environment, and also what are the basic elements of professional education and how does it differ from academics. Can we go on to the next slide, please? So looking at Infinity 8 Academy, we have 4 sections. We first and foremost, we are accredited by the Roxburgh Institute of Social Enterprise, and we provide MBA, DBA, that's master's and doctorate programs in business administration. Also, we look into fellowship, postdoctorate fellowship. So now we also cater to helping you to set up your own academies if you want to. So that is where Ranga Sir's academy also comes into the picture, the Tangara Academy, which we are supporting and trying to empower. And of course, if you are a social enterprise and if you want to be incubated and receive our ongoing mentoring, that is where, our incubator also comes into the place. But foremost, before you become a social entrepreneur, before you understand and reach at that level, and you bring all your thoughts together and bring clarity as to what kind of social enterprise would you like to take up. There are a lot of soft skills, in terms of interpersonal skills, in terms of communication. How do you want to, help you in bringing your thoughts together and bringing clarity to your purpose? For that, we also have a soft skills academy, and where we could support you in mentoring yourself as a social entrepreneur first, and then coming into the social venture. Yeah, Rangasa, can we go on to next slide, please? So when we talk about professional education and how it is different from academic education, there is a tailored curriculum which you need to follow, and then you need to give, basically exams, assessments based on that curriculum. But here it is very different when we talk about professional education. Professional education means you need to have your own venture, or you need to be part of a venture where you're looking at a project. So we look at your contribution towards the society, towards the planet. What are you contributing, either in somebody else's project, being a part of that project, or either leading your own project? Now, in either cases, you will need to have a purpose. You will need to have practical skills to engage. You would need to network among the stakeholders, among the various stakeholders for that project or your venture. And that all would need to bond together, for all of you stakeholders to be in a similar line in order to understand each other's role in a venture. And all these things lead to real world experiences, because this is not books, because this is not academics. You are doing real time venture. You are meeting real people with your purpose, which is again real. And of course, it leads to growth. Now, talking about social enterprise or talking about the professional education, it's very important that we need to understand that it is not a charity. Whatever you do in your venture needs to generate funds. For any social enterprise to be successful, social enterprise basically means that you're doing good for the planet. You should not be engaged in any kind of activity which is not good for the planet. When we talk about planet, we are talking about people, we are talking about the agriculture, we are talking about plants, we are talking about anything and everything. Anything to harm the planet and its inhabitants cannot be a social enterprise. So anything which is for the planet, which if you look into the SDG goals, I think they are the guiding light here. So your venture should align to the SDG goals. That is our benchmark, so that we can put you in the right direction. So this is professional education, where you need to earn by doing good for the society is the mantra. Can we go on to the next slide, please? So we have to set some expectations in social enterprises, but we need to be realistic. Our expectations should be realistic, because this is something which is, again, very different from academic. In academic, when you put a theory into various scenarios for proving it, it might be hypothetical. It does not need to be, in terms real. But here, everything is real because it's all humane. It is real. You need to have a real venture, a real project. You need to have a real role. So reality versus expectations is very, dynamic here. You need to understand that at every step while you're being a social entrepreneur. And of course, you need to earn while you do this. So very important to keep yourself afloat and in long term. So always have a long term vision for yourself and your venture. Again, here also our expectations should be very realistic as to what we are looking at. So I usually tell the students in Infinity 8 Academy, think small, take baby steps. You can have a bigger, a grand vision, a national vision to do things, but you need to take first the baby steps towards that goal. And that is where the realistic expectations will lead you to the right path. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So what are the kind of practical skills that we are talking about for a social entrepreneur or for social entrepreneurship? The first is, of course, the leadership. You need to be passionate about your subject. And when you're passionate about your subject, you talk freely about your subject. And when you talk and communicate freely about your subject, you command a leadership in your subject. So that is where your leadership comes out. You need to be really passionate. You need to bring the likely and unlikely stakeholders on board. Even when you're thinking, people don't think that they are aligned with it, you should bring them on board. So it can be basically, out of the box thinking, as the West calls it, out of the box thinking. So we need to be very clear, passionate about our subject. Then, of course, talk communication is another practical skill which a social entrepreneur should be very fluent with. Because if you have good communication, then you can communicate your ideas, you can communicate your venture to all the stakeholders, including investors, including consumers, including the government. You can talk about your venture and thus bring clarity towards your venture. Negotiation is a very important tool and a practical skill, because every time in social enterprise, people would like to negotiate with you that why should we do this and why should we do that, why should we invest or why should we take your service. For example, you must have heard about a company called EcoVadis. Today it's a very big unicorn, but let me tell you, when they started in 2012, nobody knew about sustainability indexing. Nobody knew about sustainability supply chain management and how to get the certification and why should they get a certification. It was a very expensive process, but they had invested at the right time in that key skill development set for their employees, and they had come up with this sustainability indexing tool. And later on, as the world progressed, as the climate change happened, extreme weather events happened, there came the regulations and norms that you need to have sustainability indexing in your supply chain management. And today they have become a unicorn. So you need to have this vision 10 years ahead. Today, what you seek, invest in social enterprises, which is futuristic in nature. So that is where, negotiation tool is very important. Then we talk about project management skills. Of course, project management skills. Being a social entrepreneur, it's very important for you to have a project management skills. So any kind of project management has its own set of challenges, especially when you talk about finances, you talk about other, managing supply chain for a project management or whatever. So having a project management skill is very important for being a social entrepreneur. So all these skills we teach you while you are on the course. Please, can you move on to the next slide? Now, very important here is, since it's a small world for a social enterprise, right now, social enterprises are not very big. You always see either it's a government and non-government or corporate enterprises that are holding the world. Social enterprise is a very small number of it. I would say only single-digit percentage of the whole world is social entrepreneurship. So right now, there's a whole scope for you to network and increase it. And believe me, in 10 years from now, we will not be left at this number, but we will be looking at a much bigger double-digit growth in social entrepreneurship, because that is the demand of the planet. That is not what we are saying. That is which is reality. So opportunities to connect with industry professionals and potential partners in social enterprise and HSE sectors. So it's very important when you talk about social entrepreneurship, you need to connect with the right kind of audience to increase your partnerships, to make them see what you are thinking, and also to network with them and get more clarity on your subject. And very important thing, like industry networking events you should be attending if there are any happening. Also, professional associations should be there. You should try and align, whether you're in food business, whether you're in agriculture, education, wherever you see professional associations budding in your sector, you need to align yourself with them and let them know that you are present and this is your venture. And of course, always have an elevator pitch for yourself. Elevator pitch is explaining your concept in less than 1 minute to the other person. That is the elevator pitch. So you should very importantly, know the I would say the keywords of your venture or your pitch, so that you can just explain to the other person what you're doing and what is your venture about and gain the interest. Because everybody's attention span is really reducing day by day. So if you need to get someone interested in your venture, especially if it's a funding agency, then you need to have a ready-made elevator pitch in your mind. Can we have the next slide, please? So talking again about networking, we also need to have a good digital presence. So whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's digital networking tools, you need to now know, there are a lot of whole bouquet of free tools available on the net. You need to look into that. You need to see which is the one where your skill fits. And you need to have a social media presence, because there's a lot of crap on social media also, but there's a lot of positive things about in social media also, especially when we talk about platforms like LinkedIn. It's a very good platform where you get the right kind of people, you attract the right kind of talent. So not only the funding agencies, even your employers, employees, all those set of people which are really key for any venture, you attract them at the right pace on LinkedIn. So digital networking tools. So if you haven't invested your time till now, please do invest in it. Look into the kind of tools that you can learn easily. Now, second networking thing which is realistic is stakeholder mapping. You need to do some kind of a stakeholder mapping, whether it's supply chain, whether it's leadership, whether it's consumers, whether it's government. All the stakeholders needs to be somewhere on one page, so that you know your venture is right in the middle of it, and who are your real-time stakeholders that you need to network with. Because we cannot leave anything behind, whether it is regulatory changes, whether it is changes in supply chain management, logistics, whether it's your leadership or think tank which is changing its theme, or whether it is your consumer who is demanding something else from you. Anything, all the stakeholders, they need to be mapped and assessed regularly. Also, you need to expose yourself and your venture through internships and professional exposure. So try to, right now when you do not have your own venture, but you want to be in social enterprise, do a lot of internships. Get connected to ventures which are real-time social ventures and can give you a good exposure. So this professional exposure will help you to use those skills and use that knowledge for your own venture. And when still you are in the frame of mind, okay, that I need to start my venture, my social enterprise, but I need some money for it, or I need more exposure, then do some consulting, do some project-based engagement to not only earn money, but also understand how does a social enterprise really work. So, yeah, so that is this is how networking should be done. And of course, the NGO collaboration and civic partnership is very important. So whichever non-governmental organization that you think are there in your sector, please look out for them and, have a kind of an interpersonal action with them. Understand what they are doing and how they can contribute to your venture, or you can contribute to their venture. And this is the kind of a civic partnership that is the way forward. Because now corporates which are private running business houses, they will always run on profits, and the government will have its own priorities because of the running a nation, and it has its own set of push and pulls. So that is why it is important for you to have these civic partnerships with other social enterprises, so that social enterprises bloom in your country, and social enterprises will always have those services which the community needs. They might not be very profitable, but this is what the community needs. So that is why civic partnership is very important. Can we have the next slide, please? So when we talk about real world experiences, we are talking about not only internships, doing consultative projects, doing collaborative work with other NGOs and social enterprises, but it also includes concepts like experiential learning. What do you mean by experiential learning? If we need to understand any concept, we need to experience the concept. Then only we will understand it. That is called experiential learning. When you are working in a similar scenario, for example, if you are an agency or if you have interest in fire safety or road safety, then if you are aligned with the suppose with the fire services, you do some internship with the fire services, or even with the Ministry of Road Transport for road safety, if you do some internship with them, then the kind of exposure that you will get within the scenarios, which is real time, that is the experiential learning aspect that we're talking about here. Similarly, professional conduct and accountability. Whenever you are in an atmosphere where you have to serve other people, that demands a professional conduct. It should be a non-biased conduct. You are there as a community service person. You're not there to help someone that is your friend or your family. So you should be neutral in your conduct. That is a professional conduct. And of course, be accountable for your own actions. Social enterprise means that it is an venture. You are a person who is socially accountable. People can ask you questions and you do have answers for them. That is the kind of accountability we are talking about here. And that is the reason that social ventures are very few, but still these are the ventures which are most popular. There's one very good venture in India called Teach for India. Now, Teach for India is a venture which is non-profitable, but it is made up of common people who have rendered their time for teaching children who are not able to go to school, or even adults who want to be taught, who want to be educated. So they are so accountable. You can look into their books. You can look into the people, who are aligned with them. You can look into the kind of number of students they have already taught. Everything is transparent. That is the kind of accountability we are looking at. And of course, they earn because they need to pay everyone. They do earn, but they are still very transparent and accountable. Now, looking at real world experiences means real world problem solving. You are not looking into a book, or you are not looking into some kind of what we say, a curriculum where you're just going to give an assessment. If you're standing on the crossroads of road safety, then you're looking at real world problems which are used for road safety. If you are at fire safety, then you're looking at that. So any kind of, whether it's education, anything, you are solving real world problems. That is what it is. And of course, stakeholder communication, because it's very important. Any stakeholder, whether it's a consumer, whether it's government, whether it is, say a supply chain, anyone, it is very important for them to know what you are doing and also for you to know what they are expecting of you. Either ways, the communication is very important. Can we have the next slide, please? So overall, let me tell you, in professional education, it provides students with necessary skills and knowledge to lead successful businesses that create positive social and environmental impact. So all your ventures are SDGs aligned, and they would obviously be, give a positive impact for the planet. We prepare students to address complex challenges in a modern world, such as climate change, poverty, inequality. So that is where our students come into the picture. Any social enterprise which is catering to any of the problems which figure in the SDGs is a complex challenge. Even if we talk about simple things like food, water, air, it may sound very simple, but it is very complex. So we look after students who are, engaged in any kind of these activities. Equip students with tools to innovate and develop sustainable solutions to societal problems. Let me tell you, even if we talk about air, bringing clean air is the most difficult part of any social enterprise, because it involves behavior change within the community. Until and unless you bring a behavior change, you bring those kind of regulations, you bring those kind of in the early on in the education system where people learn from that. Until and unless you bring all those changes, quality air and good air cannot be obtained. So it can sound very simple, but it is very complex. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, these are a few things that we are doing in India. We are approaching Tata Institute of Social Sciences for helping us out to train the social entrepreneurs, and we have shared our curriculum with them, and we are trying to get their collaboration into this. We are also supportive for social entrepreneurship, especially in public health, safety, and environmental domains, because that is where my personal expertise also lies. But we are open to other kind of sectors also, which is not HSC. We are even open to non-HSC sectors. Right now, we are helping a student who is working about bringing a drink, which is a kind of a drink, which is a health drink. Again, it comes under health, but it also comes under F&B, food and beverage sector. So it might not be a HSC sector, but still we are trying to help the student. And of course, we have an incubation center under the Center for Social Entrepreneurship, which is again an independent autonomous center. We are trying to bring our incubation center under them so that we can provide services to our students. And of course, we encourage the student-led initiatives and NGOs working in the community-based HSC sector, and especially sanitation and disaster preparedness. Because being into DRR myself for almost 2 decades, I know how DRR impacts, and we cannot, anything and everything under the sun right now today in the world is DRR, whether it is man-made or whether it is natural. So bringing best practices in sanitation, bringing best practices in preparedness, everything leads to DRR holistically. Can we have the next slide, please? So, yes, we are talking to IIT Gandhinagar, that's one of the institutes, and we have an active focus on public safety and environmental risk. This is the topic we are discussing with them. We are also discussing with other agencies like Will Grow, Deshpande Foundation, and Social Alpha, which is again into a lot of social entrepreneurship in India. And we have got active support from various other educations in to help and make the social entrepreneurship base strong in India. So that is what we're trying to extend in Asia and Africa also, and also share learnings from across the countries. So whether it is wash sector, whether it is environmental safety, whether it's community health innovation at the very village level, if you can say, or whether we are talking about occupational safety in terms of workplace safety, or in informal sectors where where the workers face a lot of occupational safety issues. We're looking into all these areas so that disaster risk reduction as a whole, uh, you know, uh, could be taken care of. And we are starting small. We are not promising big promises, but we are making the effort, a small effort from our side in all these sectors. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so okay, you can stop sharing, Ranga. That's the last screen. Okay, so I would like to talk to you all that, main issue that we were speaking about is to raise funds. And I think talking about funds, now there are no global funds, which are very active in around the globe. So I think crowdfunding is a very important aspect which should be looked into. Crowdfunding, and also looking into the schemes run by your own government, because that is the best funding mechanism right now. So we should look into the CSR funds, corporate social responsibility funds, which are locally available, government funds, and also crowdfunding. So we can look into these three aspects, and this is where I rest my case. I'll be happy to take any questions. If anybody has any questions on Roxburgh or social entrepreneurship, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pooja, for the time being with us. And it's very comprehensive presentation on what we are all doing right now. And previously, we have shown some videos where our students or leaders, let's say leaders who are learning to do their businesses, are showing, presenting or pitching their causes. So we are now on the question and answer session, where anyone can raise question for Mr. Ranga, as well as Prof. Dr. Puja. And we open at least first term for 3 questions. You can type it in the chat room, or you can raise hand so we can notify and identify and let you speak in the microphone. So anyone wants to, we give 3 persons to ask questions.
Maybe suggestion, not only question, yeah, Mas Giri, or experience.
Also, you can share some comments, or you can have sharing some experiences regarding the DRR or DRR education or professional DRR education. We are welcome. It's time for us to share what we have learned in life, in profession. Is there any questions or any comments?
Yeah, while waiting, I'd like to update to Prof. Puja. Several of mitigators attend this webinar, and also fellows from Scouts of Malaysia.
Great.
Webinar.
Multi-country, and I'm very happy. And I would, students might be thinking as to what, because, social entrepreneurship is not something which is very easy to understand in the very first go. So I think it's very important for us to keep on sharing with them our experiences. It was very good of you, Kiri, to share the 4 and 5 ventures that the founders spoke about their own, what are they doing, and that will give them a good example with the kind of ventures that we are already into. But I'm sure that, Indonesia is a very different society from Africa. But Indonesia also has a lot of scope where we are talking about introducing, like masters in disaster management with Dr. Derek, who's coming up with masters in disaster management. And also he's looking into Papua region, where he's thinking, there's less documentation of, resources and real-time resources that it should be used by Papua University. So there are lots of things that a social enterprise can do to enrich the nation and make it more DRR compliant, as I can say. So whether it is the funding, whether it is the social enterprise, whether it is the education sector, whether it's community-based DRR, talking about road safety, talking about knowing your, even as simple as, concepts like having a go bag. Whenever there are flash floods, whenever it's a tsunami, you have some kind of a go bag within your household, where you keep your all important copies of your identity, that you have, identity documents that you have. And also you keep some kind of a 48 hours of survival ration and water with you, dry ration and water with you. And also things like matchbox, manual torch, and things like that. So even things like these, if we could also assist them in thinking that, they should have some kind of these efforts into on a household level also. And how within the household, how to undertake fire safety, how to know how to use a fire extinguisher, things like these. So all these things are very important, and even at a household level, I think it's very important. So let's start small, but right from the household unit, keep this community of 32 to 35 people who have joined us, and send them flyers, send them send them flyers, send them some kind of an information for them to be linked with us, and keep this communication channel on, so that they can ask us questions even after this webinar is off. They can ask us questions whenever they want, whether it is social entrepreneurship, whether it is household level safety, whether it is any kind of hazard specific safety. If they want any feedback, if they want any information related to DRR, or on social entrepreneurship, we are the people that they should come to without any hitch. So I think we should create that kind of a communication with this 32 to 35 people that we have here, so that they are open to us, they discuss with us freely. Today, they might not be in a position to be a social entrepreneur, but in years to come, they might be, so just to keep the communication going, to keep we could make this as a community of practice, a COP for us, where we keep exchanging information. So there are lots of things that we can do with them. And I think that will be a very enriching thing for them as well as for us. Thank you.
Pooja and Ranga, some question to me privately. Can I
Sure.
read
Sure,
for
sure.
them?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a chat from Jehoshaphat. Please bear with me. Let's have some questions here.
If you're available, I think Josaphat can speak, Miss Maskiri, our fellow leader.
I will read some question first.
All right.
Yeah, before Joseph. Yeah. So the question is how to manage disaster in hospital setting. This is from Mr. Saputra. And there is the second one is
let's do one by one, Kiri. Let's do one by one.
Yes.
So hospital safety is again a very favorite subject of mine. I've been doing hospital safety for almost 8 years now. So hospital safety, I think if you could, if you could just let me know whether you represent a public hospital or a private hospital. And if you are working in that same hospital that you're talking about, then I would like to know whether you have a hospital, there's something called a DM committee, a disaster management committee. And it is usually headed by a medical superintendent of your, health institution. So first you need to form a DM committee. Once a DM committee is formed, then there's something called IRS, Incident Response System. So IRS is something which is a globally known, pathway for any kind of a response in emergencies. So you need to have an IRS specifically customized for your health institution. And then we need to, once we in that, there are various roles, whether it is for planning, whether it is for finance, whether it is for any, all these roles, 5 key roles are defined. They might be with the senior doctors or senior people in administration. We give them those roles because they are the ones who can mobilize the resources. And then we talk about job specific roles, to the level that, for example, if I create a job card for a lab assistant in a hospital, and say that your work in times of an emergency is to take a wheelchair at gate number 1, for example, then that is your job card for the emergency. So anybody who's sitting at your role, on your seat, whether it is you or whether if you, even if you leave the job and go away, but in that hospital, anybody is sitting on that seat in terms of any earthquake, in terms of any mass casualty, in terms of any disaster, that person's role is to bring that wheelchair at gate number 1. So everybody will know that the wheelchair will be available at gate number 1. So to that specificity, we create a disaster management plan for each hospital with the adequate job cards. So this kind of a very, it's an internal exercise within the health institution. And this kind of work should be carried out. And this is called your DM plan, which is very hands-on plan, which should not be a very heavy plan that it's kept in the books, but it is something which should be hands-on, should be available freely to everyone so that everybody understands what is hospital safety all about. So, we can also talk about it further later on any one-to-one session if you want to ask more questions on hospital safety. Hope I've answered, Kiri.
Okay, thank you, Pooja. Thank you. I hope it's answering your question because it's really technical. So if you want to talk with us or Pooja especially, you can contact us. And as you are joining the WhatsApp group, we can have a more intense contacts in the future. So we have another question which is from Red Cross and connected to Dr. Ruben's in the general question. So, yeah, please, the third, yeah, will be Jehoshaphat. So the next question is how to implement or to fund community resilience, especially with volunteer base, no salary. So how we can build
Yeah.
or fund resilience with that, and then connect to Dr. Ruben, how to implement resilience funding in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ranga, are you going on that, or should I answer?
Yes.
Okay.
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 So it's kind of part my venture actually when I train my mitigators to have knowledge about disaster risk reduction, mapping their hazard, mapping the vulnerability and capacity on their own place, starting from their house, schools, mosques, church or office, and building their own mitigation design. And it can be we can propose this mitigation design to all funding or financial institution, such as we can propose to let's CSR, because they want to invest on the really good design, mitigation design, and that's what mitigators function. And hopefully this is also one of the way to make sure that our mitigators able to get funding from a lot of institutions.
Okay, thank you, Ranga. I would like to add a bit here. Apart from funding, if you do not have funds, but you still want to do community resilience, the next thing that you could do, and that is what we use and practice in India also, is about giving recognition. Like for road safety, we have done it in universities, in college and universities. What we have done is we uh, we have appointed ambassadors of road safety within the students, and we give them a badge that you are a road safety ambassador. And now what your work is that for you have to talk to next 10 students about road safety. Okay. And once you talk to them about road safety, whether it is helmet wearing or whether it is following traffic rules or whatever, then we also assess on a monthly basis. We meaning we form a body in the college which includes the a few teachers and a few students, and they act as the kind of a bench, and they would every month review which of these ambassadors has done well and met the target about talking about road safety, and they are even honored as the best ambassador for the month, which is again they might get some lunch coupons, or they might get some free coupons for them to just as a small prize. So it has been working really well. We do not pay students anything talking about road safety. So we need to institutionalize community resilience. That is what I'm coming at. It does not really need money. It needs behavior change, and this behavior change can be brought in by recognition. So even in the at household level, community level, if you're talking about community resilience, whether it's related to fire, forest fire, or even floods, urban floods, or whatever, or tsunami, you have to identify households, keen households within that village or a hamlet that you're talking about, and make them ambassadors, ambassador households for DRR. And then those people who are passionate about the subject will talk to other 10 houses about DRR, and then give them the recognition, the best ambassador for the month or best household for the month. This is how we take the community based DRR without paying any money. But for that you need to have labor intensive and means you need to put in a lot of labor to reach out to these people at the household level, and then you need to inculcate this behavior change within them. So this is through non-funding measures, but it is highly successful because these are those people who are already facing that problem and are in the thick and thin of it. But of course, for this also you need minimum funding that can be raised, as Ranga sir said, from CSR funds or from the government funds. But it has to be a mix and match. You cannot totally depend on charities and funds. You also need to do some proactive reaching out. So how do you come together with the proactive techniques as well as with the safe? So that's what, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Puja and Ranga, for the insights. Now we want to let Dr. Mekuye, our please, Dr. Mekuye, want to share something?
Yes, hello everyone and good morning.
Good morning.
Bisi Mekuye.
Good day.
Yes, I'm calling in from Nigeria. Firstly, I want to say thank you for the invitation. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, firstly, I want to say thank you for the invitation. And all the sessions I've listened to, they are quite interesting and educative. But I want to talk about flood. You know, in Nigeria, we have a lot of flooding incidents, especially in the rainy season that we're in right now. And we find out that the measures that governments have put in place, sometimes they are not adequate. And also we find out that citizens are asked to evacuate from flood-prone areas to where? So how can governments best prepare for the rainy season? And how can citizens also prepare themselves for the rainy seasons so that when the rains come, they are not dislodged? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, very first thing which I think I'm sure Ranga will also be in a good position to answer this, but I'll just like to say two important things here. One is that you need to ask your government to carry an HRVC exercise, which is hazard risk vulnerability assessment. The government should comprehensively do an HRVC, a risk assessment exercise, to understand what are the vulnerable areas within that space, and which are the hamlets which are the most vulnerable. And within those most vulnerable villages or hamlets, who are the most vulnerable people, like lactating mothers with young children, old people, so the vulnerable sector population. So this kind of risk assessment first needs to be done. And once this has been done out, then of course they should need to have, it can be kind of, should be an investment like raised platforms, like the Indian Red Cross did in Assam and Bihar. We had raised platforms, and also we need to have some kind of relief homes or relief centers, where if in flood times, if the families are allowed to they are made to evacuate, then they should have primary health care and food and drinking water and sanitation spaces there. So all these centers need to be built in. Now, this is the kind of centers that we have made in Odisha in India, which are cyclone centers. Because when it comes for a week or 15 days, people need to evacuate from their own houses. Now, where do they stay once the government gives the warning? So they are children, they're old people, they're all kinds of people there. So how do they eat food? Their sanitation, everything needs to be taken care by the government. So I think the first step is the HRVA, of course, and second is to have these relief centers. That's from my side. Yeah, Ranga, would you like to go on?
Yeah, we're having same situation as well, especially in around our capital city. We call it Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, and Tangerang. It's kind of seasonal flooding, and yeah, of course, the best mitigation is to evacuate them to the more adequate land. But interestingly, there's groups of, let's say, victims. They try to like a coping mechanism. So they make a group and try to adapt to the situation. Let's say they just want to know if the flood coming in what hours. So they built like a community-based monitoring on the top side of the river. So they know there's a warning, the early warning in, let's say, for there's a warning 3 hours, in 3 hours, there will be flooding in your area. So they still have time to move their goods, the like electricity equipment or vehicles. And the other adaptation is they build the house into several floors, like 2 or 3 floors. When the flood coming, they just let the first floors is welcome the water, but they put up the electricity so they're not get impacted by the flood, because it's a seasonal. In every 5 years, they will welcome the floods, but then it's only 3 or let's say weeks. The flood will stop, and so that's an amazing adaptation by the community, I think, because they live, they aware they live in the flood area.
Another one adaptation which I would like to single out, which has happened in India, is also in Assam. There's a world's largest island, called Majuli Island, which is a river island, not the sea island. So a river island, and there they know that floods come every year. It's a perennial feature. Annually, every year we get floods there. So what they have changed is, now they have changed from past 3 to 4 years, they changed into stilt houses, rather than staying on the houses which are below, because they know that every year 3 or 4 months they will have floods. So that is how they are coping with it. So these are the ways. But of course, for the government, McWay, that you spoke about, they need to do a risk assessment for sure, and they need to have relief centers for the people. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I think there's another raise hand from Duyani, Mas Kiri. It's very interesting. Thank you, Dr. Mekuye. So nice to see you.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, Dr. Mikuya, with the question and ignite this discussion. I think there is Asia Africa learning together, right? Yeah, we can expand this learning space. So okay, let's take another question from Dwi Yani. Please, you can give your question or comment.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm V from Indonesia, and also I'm so excited to participating for this event. And this is actually related to the presentation at first. So I have 2 questions here for Mas Rangga and also for Puja. And for the first question is to Mas Rangga, could you please elaborate more regarding fund resilience, not disaster? And could you please share to us what fund resilience that you have perceived and what sort of program that we have to design in terms of many cross sectors like economic, social, and also another sectoral that we have. That's for Mas Rangga. And also for Puja, as a non-profit organization, is it, in your perspective, is it allowed to have a specific program related to the social entrepreneurs? Because, in my opinion, as a non-profit organization, being in the gray area, that we are in non-profit, and also but we have to fund something to make a program and so on. So is it allowed for you to do that crowdfunding and so on? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ranga,
Yes.
you go first.
Okay. So this is the kind of question that I'm waiting for, because I can elaborate my studentship in Infinity and Roxburgh. So thank you, Mbak Dwi, for the question. And well, I joined the Roxburgh Roxburgh Institute for Social Entrepreneurship, promoted by Infinity 8 Academy. They upgrade me, increase my capacity on how to develop ventures that not charitable, but it's profitable, but still in social entrepreneurship. So, for example, one of my expert in safe school activity, we all know that schools have capacity, have budget to develop their own mitigation design, or in our country we call it Satuan Pendidikan Aman Bencana. The constraint is they need like an authorization from the department, from the educational department. Yes, you can use your fund to build like a mitigation design or to build your own evacuation plan. So that's one of my propose to school. Use your own budget. We call it RKAS or activity and budgeting plan every year. And interestingly, all schools in Indonesia experience the same budgeting when we have COVID, right? When we have COVID, all schools spending their budget on safety, on the masker. They bought masker. They bought soap for the to prevent the COVID. So actually, all of schools in Indonesia able to fund their own mitigation, not only for biological but also for another prone hazard disaster. That's one of the example. Thank you. Next to you, Puja. Prof. Puja.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you understood that. Okay. Now, going to my question, of course, that is what we debate in Roxburgh. And that is the new reality debate. That, more and more organizations now talking about the regulation of CSR was brought in around 2 decades ago in India. Okay, that you need to have CSR funds and all that stuff. But now talking about CSR funds is a passe. The new thing is social entrepreneurship. Because anything and everything that we would be doing in another 2 decades, let me tell you, will be about social entrepreneurship, because we need to do good for the planet. And while doing good for the planet, we need to earn also. It is a reality. And when we say that non-profit should not make profit, no, it is no more about non-profit. Okay, it means you have got yourself registered in one of those, I think, regulatory things, where in India also there is something called NGO, which is supposed to be non-profit. But then you need to earn that much amount of money to keep yourself afloat. We are not of the policy that we are extracting money on any pretext of doing good for the planet and then making umpteen amounts of money out of it. No, that is not the philosophy here. Here, the philosophy is that you keep the venture afloat. And while you keep the venture afloat, you need to hire people. You need to provide all kind of services to the people through this social entrepreneurship, social enterprise of yours. So how do you do that if you don't earn money? So we need to crack a balance where we are earning to support our services as well as to pay off to the people who are working for us. But yes, not extracting, like private corporates, not extracting that amount of income that we tend to, make unfair profits. So there's a thin line of understanding, I think, which we need to pay attention to. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Mas Rangga and Puja.
Thank you. So, Kiri?
Back to our moderator.
Okay, so I hope Ms. Dwi is satisfied with the answers, and if
I
you
hope
want
not.
to talk
I
more.
hope not, Mas Kiri, so we can have another discussion maybe on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hope not satisfied.
Yeah, we can open discussion. In a few minutes, we'll send you a link where you can talk directly to us. We'll schedule you. You want to whatever you want to build something. You want to expand your project, or you want to bring your whole team to the next level with us. To Roxbot through Infinity. We are welcome to talk with you. And here we have Dr. McQueen, and we can build a global network. At least Asia and Africa, we can work together, because this year we are celebrating 70 years of working together. So many independence country become independent 70 years ago or 60 years ago. Now we want to build this society, the global society. We act locally, we tackle the global issues. So that's what we are doing. That's why we fund resilience is not becoming what do you call a Robin Hood, or something who have a lot of money and then distribute it charitably, and then when the fund is done or gone, no more charity, no more work, right? We hope for another donation or another funding. So we are not working that way. That's why we are here to help everyone to build a sustainable enterprise or sustainable work for the community. And I want to take some question here from Brother Jehoshaphat. Thank you for your patience. He has a question here. What innovative funding models have worked best for humanitarian enterprise? And then the next question is how we attract investors who are about for both profit and purpose. So who will answer this? Ranga and Puja, or both of you?
This is Prof. Puja.
Okay, please, Puja.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Josephat, for this question. When you talk about innovation funding mechanisms, whichever in a localized way or global way. Now, as I spoke earlier, also while I was giving my presentation, there are no global funds right now with the given geopolitical conditions all around the globe. We need to understand that. So we need to work on two forums. I think one is, of course, the local, where you talk to your government to get funds, where you talk to your industry bodies within your country to get funds, mobilize funds to the industry associations, and also, of course, the CSR. Very important, whatever corporate social responsibility funds that you from your country or around your country you can lay your hands to. And secondly, very important is crowdfunding. Talk about your and pitch your project on crowdfunding. And there are global platforms for crowdfunding, which we can help you to help, get onto your funding, kitty. And also look into the organizations which are doing similar work and which have a big name, and take them as investors, by not sharing your equity, but by sharing your profit margin. That is the key advice. Do not dilute your equity, so easily, and do not give away your equity. Always, whenever you're taking any kind of investment in terms of investors from across the globe, you should look into profit sharing. I think that's a safer place where you keep your venture to your name and still get the required funds that you need. So I think that is the path to take. And apart from that, Josephat, if you talk about purpose-driven investors, then you need to do a little bit of homework in terms of who is, which are the countries and which are the business houses which really have interest in your kind of venture. And there are business houses which do have particular kind of interests where they do support purpose-driven investment as well. It's a good innovative way to find out those business houses which have purpose-driven investment. And then once you do your homework, then of course reach out to them through social media or through any contacts that you can make to leverage there. So yeah, it's an open house right now. There are various combinations and possible combinations that you can do on funding. And yes, innovation is the key word here. We need to innovate a lot in getting the funding right now. Hope I've answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we lost Mr. Maskiri, having trouble with internet. Maybe Dr. Ben will be so kind to share also his thought in this topic and also promote our Infinity 8 Academy, how to join the Infinity 8 Academy for social.
Yeah. And also,
can I also add?
Yeah, sure.
Add to the
Sure,
funding bit? Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry for barging in. Sorry for barging in. Yes.
Our fellow leaders, Charles, please.
Yes, I also want to mention that just as Dr. Puja has said, the funds are drying up. We are looking inwards. Another way of going about it is by partnership or collaboration. You know, when organizations come together, especially those of us in the NGO space, when we come together to collaborate, we have our strength. Each organization has something to give. So you may not be able to give money, you may not be able to raise funds from the global perspective, but you are able to do one or two things. Probably if you are planning a meeting, or you are planning an activity, somebody is able to come and talk out of the members of that coalition or partnership. Some has office to donate instead of you going for venue. They have all the amenities that you need, power, you have the furniture and everything to donate in that space. So partnership is very, very important. Where you have a partnership or a collaboration or coalition, there's strength in it, and you are able to donate things that are not cash incentive, but service-wise. So partnership is very important. We should look at that aspect for funding. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pekwe. Those were golden birds. And I agree completely. Resource sharing and partnership and resource sharing is very important, especially in the social enterprise space, because we have scarce funds. So we should, of course, look into resource sharing and partnership. And even if there's non-funding deals and in-kind deals of resource sharing is also a very important aspect of growth without able to raise funds. Still you're growing and making an impact in your work. Thank you, McVeigh, on those words. Yes, Charles, go ahead.
Hello, thank you so much. There's quite a lot that I have transferred and learned from the webinar today. But I want to comment on the power of community. Dr. Ruben posted something on the chat which I found quite inspiring, that Bangladesh has frequent floodings. They develop community safety elevated islands, which saves lives. I was also looking at that in terms of any other ventures that we are actually working on under Infinity Aid Academy in Roxburgh. And I imagine also Dr. Puja mentioned that also mentioned that global funds have dried up, and that makes it, global funds have dried up. That means there are no more fundings from these companies. Actually, my brother works for UNAIDS here in Uganda, and they've said that UNAIDS is stopping in 2026, which is basically next year. So I immediately got worried for him, which means for me that our next direction is actually community mobilization and community investment, which is something that already has been highlighted in what Dr. Rubin posted, as well as many other speakers. And I am encouraged, and I want to also encourage all of us that the best way is to now invest and generate profit or social impact is through community impact and community mobilization. And that is the direction that we should probably take. I think this lonesome wolf hunting thing is ending. And now it's upon us to actually see the power in the community every time we think about investing and making impact. I feel that was really strong for me. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And also, I would like to share with all of you here one important funding agency that we now can tap into and look forward is the faith. Like churches, temple, mosques, whoever, they have a reasonable amount of funding always. Because whenever we go to any of these place of worships, we tend to share with them a good amount of money, and that too it comes voluntarily. Everybody wants to donate to their own faith agencies, whichever places of worship that you go to. So I think if you share with these faith agencies also, whether it's any of the religions that you follow, and if you share and if you're doing good for the society, whether it's DRR, whether it's road safety, whether it is training or skilling the youth, anything which is for the benefit of the society, you can of course talk to them and bring them on board. That will bring two things to your venture. One is of course money funding, and secondly credibility. Credibility also will come to you, because any of these faith agencies, if they are aligned with you, then of course it brings credibility to your venture. So this is something which we need to open our minds to as social entrepreneurs and take it up. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to add also, we know there's like a philanthropist movement as well. I remember after tsunami in Aceh, we have a lot of like Muslim philanthropists because they have their own philanthropists. It's also a good example, and yeah, faith-based philanthropies, and also even like a scouting, the young scouts, they're willing to give their own money, not much, but it's really meaningful. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, then I think we have completed our agenda, and hopefully we would have got our feedback forms that Kiri had floated. So I would request you all to please fill in those feedback forms. And Kiri is also forming a WhatsApp group of this whole cohort. So of course we'll be in touch there as well. So looking forward to reaching out to you all and interacting with you all further. Thank you and bye from my side.
Hello.
Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you, Pooja and Ranga. I think we are coming to the close, and we are about to send you a link for you to build your to. We are welcome. We are trying to put it live. If not, we can put it in the WhatsApp group where everyone is there. We can communicate after this when it's so before we close, we want to have a closing remarks, word sentence from Pooja, from Ranga, and we would like also to invite if Domikuya is here, Domikuya can give one or two statements that can strengthen us for our. So please, Pooja, Ranga, and then
Yeah, let me start my closing statement. So, again, mitigators is everyone business because we would like to have a resilience in our community. And yeah, as theme of our International Day of Disaster Risk Reduction, fund resilience, resilience, not disaster. Thank you. Prof. Puja, Dr. McQuay, please. We will wait for your closing statement before Mas Kiri close all this session. Dr. McQuay, please.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you once again for this invitation. It has been encouraging, especially take home for me is a bit of collaboration and pitching for our ventures. You know, when you have ventures and you want to pitch, it should be prompt, it should be effective, so that people who want to help for you to grow your venture can understand and come and key into what you are doing. So thank you for this opportunity to attend. Well done, everyone.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm back up in Mas Kiri here. Is Puja still available to have like closing statement? Or back to Mas Kiri?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ranga and Dr. Mikuye, for wrapping up. I guess Puja has another appointment in her work. So I have posted a link, the Google link, Talk to Us. So we are opening for anyone actually. If you want to build something or you want to expand your project or you want to collaborate, you can bring your team, talk to us, and we can help you. Whatever project you have for community resilience, flooding, fire, agriculture, food security, health, everything, microfinance, education, everything. There is no limit for us. So you can build resilience and we can fund resilience together. As Dr. Mikuya said, we work together in collaboration. So take a time to fill the form. It's simple form. Once you submit it, we can reach you out and we can talk and schedule talking with Dr. Puja and the team. So thank you for all your time. Thank you for the support from Tenggara Foundation who making this live session on air in YouTube. And soon we'll send you a link. You can watch it again. You can digest little by little. And then also we invite you to talk to us and let's sit together what we can do together. No border of country, no limit of project or program. We are welcome everyone. Thank you. We see you again in the next webinar and occasion. Let's fund resilience, not disaster. See ya.
Cheers.